the George Floyd Memorial Center for the Weekend of Enlightenment. Come share your love and the legacy of George Floyd Jr. Join us on Facebook Live Wednesday, May 18th, 8 p.m. Eastern, as we join forces interviewing powerful leaders that are coming together for this momentous event. From the George Floyd Memorial Center, Executive Director Thomas Mclaren, Chief Impact Officer Roger Floyd. Meet our global supporters. You gotta be hungry! Mr. Les Brown, the Balanced Dr. Kim Jacobs, the Kim Jacobs Show. This is Ignite and Take Flight. Dr. Lotus Riché from the Lotus Riché Ignite Show. Shirley Murphy of Ravens TV and Gleam Magazine. Coverage in Nigeria, Africa. And of course, Mary Tulakima, entrepreneur and global engineer expert. Coverage in Perth, Australia. Dr. Tanya Price, CEO and founder of the world-renowned Top End Magazine. Be sure to catch Dr. Lotus Riché, Les Brown, and Kim Jacobs as they ignite the stage, joining forces to make this event one you won't forget. Grab your virtual and physical seats for the George Floyd Weekend of Enlightenment today.
Hello, everyone. We are so glad to be with you all this evening and very honored to have Dr. Lotus Riché, who's going to take it away from here. And we're going to be talking with some world-renowned thought leaders today that are sure to make sure that you have an upcoming wonderful enlightenment weekend. Dr. Lotus Riché, go ahead and talk to us first.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is your lady, Dr. Lotus Riché from the Lotus Riché Ignite Show. And I'm super duper happy to be partnered today with none other than, you got to be hungry, Mr. Les Brown. Woo, woo! And of course, the remarkable Kim Jacobs from It's the Kim Jacobs Show.
Oh, keep it straight. Keep it straight.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And we also have two amazing ladies coming in from other shows, but they're going to be joining us shortly. But we had to say all that so I could say all this. We are so happy to be partnered with the George Floyd Memorial Center. And today we have Mr. Roger Floyd. And of course, we have Mr. Thomas Mclaren. And today we're going to dive deep. We're going to tell you a little bit about who they are, the roles that they play in the Memorial Center, and we're going to tell you what the Weekend of Enlightenment is all about. So with no further ado, first, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. All of our audience viewers out there in viewership land. We want you to come on in and get in where you fit in, and make sure you tag a friend. Go ahead and tell your mother, your father, your dog Toto, and everybody that needs to know, and tell them to come on in and get it where they fit in, because we always have room around our table for you. So with no further ado, let's give them about 30 seconds to go ahead and tag a friend and tell them to come on in. Go ahead and tag your friend. Tag your frenemies too, because they need to know what we're about to do. Come on in, and get in where you fit in, right here with Lotus Riché and the queen herself, Miss Kim Jacobs. And of course, you gotta be hungry, Les Brown, Mariel Tulakima, and Shirley Murphy.
And we hope that you've taken an opportunity to go ahead and tag people, let them know. Let us know where you're visiting in from, and we'll be popping in the comments throughout today's discussion. At this time, we're going to get the opportunity for us to hear from internationally renowned motivational speaker, none other than Mr. Leslie Calvin Brown, who is Mamie Brown's baby boy. So we're going to be, and Dorothy Rucker's pride and joy. Don't forget that anymore, because he was able to meet his birth parents as well at the age of 76. So we're going to just play a quick commercial regarding Les Brown, and then we're going to come back and just give you all a chance to hear from him for a brief moment. We'll be right back.
We make decisions, and our decisions make us. You have something special. You've got greatness in you. When I look at this picture with my brother and I, born in an abandoned building on a floor in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, and I was labeled educable mental retarded. They called me DT, the dumb twin. No one could have told me, by investing in myself and learning how to communicate, how to present myself, how to speak to one-on-one or small groups or large audiences, that it would dramatically change my life. I'm 77 now, and I'm looking for people who are serious about becoming successful, about becoming a category king, on how to tell their story about themselves or about their business, or how to monetize their dreams and make a difference on the planet. If that's you, I want you to reach out to me. I'm going to teach you how to tell your story, how to use quotes, how to use humor, how to make people laugh and feel good and cry in their tears. Oh, let me tell you something up in here. People say we have the best training program on the planet and train more successful people than anybody on the planet. And you can be the next one. This is your time. This is your moment to turn adversity to your advantage. But you gotta be hungry. You have something special. You got greatness in you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Bye for now.
Everyone, stand to your virtual seats and give a round of applause to Mr. Les Brown. Welcome, Les Brown. How are you today?
I'm great. I always say it's always a treat when great people meet. I'm so glad to be here and to participate in this. And one of the most important things that we must understand and stand on, and I think is what gives birth to the Floyd Memorial Center, is that evil prevails when good men and women do nothing.
Right.
We think about where we are. I mean, I was fired September the 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like it was yesterday because I editorialized about police deadly use of force in Columbus, Ohio, 1978.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we look at where we are now with all the stuff that's going on, I'm 77. I remember going to work with my mother on Miami Beach, and they used to have signs that said, Jews, dogs, and coloreds not allowed. There were places on Miami Beach that dogs could go, but we couldn't go because of the color of our skin. And so this Floyd Memorial Center is about helping people learn the skill set that allow them to live a life of contribution. Horace Mann said, we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. We're taking a stand for our children and for our children's children and teaching people the strategies on what it takes to navigate this new place where we are in and out of the pandemic. We have so much to share with each other. This is a time that we have to create, and the Floyd Memorial Center is about doing that, communities of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships, and teaching people how to develop the mental resolve to handle all the stuff that's coming at us every day. I remember the time when someone sneezed, you say, God bless you. I was on the elevator the other day and a guy took his mask off to sneeze, and I looked at him and said, you know what? Yeah, I'm about to knock the living hell out of you. You don't put that mask on. I said, God bless you. And I mean, he got up there because I'm looking at him crazy up in here. You about to make me lose my mind up in here. Up in here. You about to make me act a fool up in here, up in here. And so this is a different place that we've never been before. So people need mental resolve And we've got to be willing to learn different skill sets. If we're not willing to learn, no one can help us. But if we're willing to learn, no one can stop us. And so the Floyd Memorial Center is about having a holistic approach to life and how we show up in each other's lives and standing together. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chesting rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We've come over a way that with tears have been watered. We've come treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered. Someone paid a price for us being here. That's right. And so as we look at ourselves now and the stand that we take to make a greater difference in the lives of our children, pushing humanity forward, indicating that Black lives matter. Didn't say it's better, say it matters, and everybody else's life matters. But we're the ones that our lives have not been recognized. And with white supremacists permeating police departments all across this country. Look at what happened in Brooklyn and Buffalo, New York, just recently.
Yes.
This center, this Floyd Memorial Center is more important now than ever before because of there's been a spirit of hatred and divisiveness that's been released unlike anything that I've seen in my lifetime.
I have a question for you, Les, if you don't mind. We wanted to find out too, because everything that you've already said, I think really actually speaks to this question. And don't you think, Dr. Lotus, he's already answered both of the questions that we had?
Yes, because he's so brilliant like that.
He already knows the question before we even ask it. But
yes,
one of the questions we were going to talk to you just about today is this is really a philanthropic type of project that you have decided to be a part of, to undergird. There are a lot of things that people ask you to do, but you said yes to this. And so I just wanted to see if you would share with the rest of the world, because the world is literally watching. Actually, over 10 million views came in earlier today as they were preparing for this event, to just share with us what inspired you to be one of the partners for the George Floyd Memorial Center endeavor.
You remember when I said earlier, evil prevails when good men and women do nothing?
Yes.
This is a time that we have to take a stand. And we've got to be willing to stay the course. This is not something that's going to go away right away. This is a given. This country was built on not recognizing our humanity. This is a battle that requires stamina. We must be willing to exhaust and outweigh the adversities and the people that oppose us. That's why we're here. That this place, this stand, is to remind people with the affirmation, the Jewish affirmation, never again. You have to have that kind of resolve in order to begin to create the kind of quality of life that we want. You know, Frederick Douglass said, we might not get everything that we fight for, but everything we get, there will be a fight. And we have to do it together. It's not about a singular personality. It's about our standing together, people from all walks of life, people of conscience, working together to create a better world for generations yet unborn. That's why I'm here. I've got 15 grandchildren and 4 great-grandsons. And at 77, my goal is to align myself with the Floyd Memorial Center and people who have a conscience to stand up for what they believe in, because they can fall for anything. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And that's a great story to stick to, Les Brown. And Dr. Lotus, did you have any question for Les Brown as well?
Yes, I did. And if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and bring it up on the screen, because this question is a question that I think so many people around the world may want to ask themselves as well. So, Mr. Brown, as a world renowned speaker, influencer, and thought leader, why do you think it's so critical to have events focused on enlightenment? Because for so long, we've been in the dark about so much.
It's important because this is the worst of times and the best of times. We're living in a time where being ignorant is a choice.
Right. Yes.
Just this platform that we're using right now, this was not available just a short time ago. There's a reckoning that's going on in the world. And as we use this not just to entertain and watch old Mike Tyson fights or argue who's the GOAT, Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali or LeBron or Michael Jordan, and they're amateurs in their own lives. Talking about who's the GOAT, couldn't afford tickets to these sporting events of these icons they're talking about. There's a time that our consciousness needs to be raised from being a culture of entertainment to a culture of empowerment, of enlightenment, of understanding that things aren't going to change unless we change. Nothing's going to work unless we work. Something that Mary McLeod Bethune said that I adhered to. She said, pray as if everything depends upon God, and work as if everything depends upon you. In order for this to change, we got to do exactly what we're doing right now. We got to be willing to put in the work. When will it change? We don't know. When will a baby walk? It will walk when it walks. When will it talk? It will talk when it talks, and some talk sooner than others. But what we must do is stay the course, be persistent, be willing to persevere. Even a broke clock is right twice a day. I'm gonna just wait for that one to sink in. Thank you very much. Any other question, please?
At this point, that you know what, you did let it sink in. Thank you for letting it sink in. A lot of people were digesting what you were saying, so hundreds of comments are coming in. Keep your comments flooding. I will let you know that Les Brown does take personal time to go back and review your comments. So make sure that you just encourage him and flood those comments in. And Les, I know that you have some things happening throughout this evening, and you are an extremely busy man because I know your schedule. I'm one of the directors of operations. I'm the director of operations here, so I know what he has going on so much, right? But let me tell you, you may also have a question that you want to ask someone here as well, or anybody on the panel. So let me give you the chance to ask your own question of the panel.
Yeah.
I'd like to know, what do you see as the primary objective of the Floyd Memorial Center?
I'd love to jump in right now. So glad that you're here, sir. Enjoyed your inspirational word. Powerful. Powerful. Absolutely. It's almost as if you've already been in our camp.
Oh.
Because the words that you speak are so eloquent. It tells the story of what we will accomplish. We are going to be the change that we seek. That's our goal. But what we are doing is so much bigger than all of us. We feel wholeheartedly, we know from the depths of our soul that this is godly ordained. We're just going to be the vessels through his words to get the message out. That's the goal of the George Floyd Memorial Center. We want to be a bridge to make that difference. It's not about Roger Floyd. It's not about Thomas Mclaren. It's not about the Floyd family per se, but we want to be a conduit to make that difference? How do we impact the lives of others? Because we know if we're successful in doing that, God is going to abundantly bless us as a family because we are doing his will to make that difference. How do you pursue a mission where you help the underserved? You touch base with those individuals that have the resources to do so. We strive to collaborate, partner with those individuals of like minds and hearts, because we realize in our vetting process how when we come in contact with individuals, like the ladies in particular on this call, how they have reached out to us and say, we want to be a part of what you're doing. We want to help promote this cause because it is truly bigger than all of us. And that's what we endow to do. Not just the week of enlightenment, not just the month of May, when George lost his life, May 25th, 2020. It was a devastating time for me personally and our family. And we saw exactly how this rogue police officer, right before our eyes, took his life. And as a family, we came together and we said, we have got to do something. We have got to make a difference. We got to uphold George's legacy. How do we do that? We do it one day at a time. We have our next steps. We're going to have this all year long, each year, year in, year out, because we're going to keep his name alive. If George was here today, he would say, I would rather be here than where I am. As my grandniece said so eloquently, my daddy changed the world, but yet he would rather be here with us. And since he's not, we have to step in to make that difference. When we collaborate with others to come together of like minds, we want to know what is in the core of your being. This is a heart mission every day. And we are absolutely unequivocally passionate about what we're doing. And we're going to move forward because we know some will, some won't. And I don't say this negatively, but so what? We're going to get with the individuals of like mind, of like spirit, that want to move the needle forward to make that difference. As you are, Brother Les, 77, I'm on your heels. I'm 70 years old, and this is my goal. We both are in the fourth quarter right now, but that doesn't stop us from doing what we need to do because the passion is there. And we're going to continue to collaborate, partner with those individuals of the same mindset to make that difference. That's the goal. That's what the George Floyd Memorial Center is all about. That's what we're all about.
Wow.
Roger,
Okay.
I wanted to piggyback on what Roger just said, which is so very important. And that this is hard work and heart work. It's HARD and HEART. Okay. And so part of what this moment, it's a God moment. All things work together for good, for those who love God, for those who call it according to his purpose. Didn't say all things will be good. Didn't say every day will be a good day, but there's some good in every day. 3,000 people perish on the Titanic, so millions of people would live. When you think about right now, where the Floyd Memorial Center is, if I ask all of you, and I bet you couldn't tell me, who's the president of NAACP? You don't know, the majority of you, but you knew when Benjamin Hooks was there. Who's the president of the Urban League? You don't know, just a few of you, but you knew when Vernon Jordan was there. There's a vacuum. And so what the Floyd Memorial Center will be doing is developing leaders that can communicate a message and speak to the world and create transformative experiences like this to begin to tap the minds and the hearts of people to make decisions about what kind of world we want to live in. And we make decisions, and our decisions make us. So this decision to start the Floyd Memorial Center has said his leaving here, his death will not be in vain. This decision, this will be the catalyst to create something enormous that will go beyond us. As Leo Tolstoy said, he says, as I face inevitable death, what is the meaning and purpose of my life that will not be undone or destroyed when I'm gone? This movement created by the Floyd Memorial Center will not be undone or destroyed even after we are gone. And I got to for this special broadcast today. I hope y'all know this.
Well, your haircut looks marvelous, Les. But I will tell you your age, and I'm only allowed to say this because you're like a spiritual father to me too. So it's the George Floyd Memorial Center. Because if I don't tell you that, you're gonna be like, "Nah, no, you didn't let me go through that good broadcast."
Yes, I do apologize. When you get 77, you miss a few things up in here.
I know you're gonna fuss at me if I didn't say that, so I might as well go on and say it now.
Look at Kim. I was talking to my son the other day, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm looking for my phone." He said, "You're on your phone." I said, "I knew it. I wish you were here. I'll sucker punch you right now."
I love it.
Turned 77, Roger. Oh my God, looking for a phone that I was on.
Well, before we let Mr. Brown go to his next event, I want to make sure, did anyone on the panel have a question or comment? Or I know in the studio audience you've had a lot of comments, and I've been putting them up throughout the whole time. But I want to make sure that I give you all an opportunity as well to say anything on the panel. And let me unmute you, Dr. Eric Carely.
Yes, and while you're unmuting him, I want to jump in here quickly. Folks, I know you love Mr. Les Brown. Put some LBs in the comment block. Put some LBs in the comment block below while we get ready to hear from Dr. Eric Carely III.
Well, I had a couple of questions before I came, and thank you, Dr. Lotus Riché, for asking me to come. I run a network, and the question is always communication, guys. The Black Business Olympics that happens each and every month. I'd like to see what we could do about communicating your message across our airways. We do about 10 million people, 10 million people a month. And so I'd like to see what we could do about showcasing your organization in July. We do July the 16th through the 21st, and we would love to showcase what you're doing. And of course, Les, I want to throw this in for y'all that don't know that I do know Les. Back in the days when you had rubber bands and cassettes back in Durham, North Carolina. Of course, he knows Wayne Thorpe. I'm pretty sure Wayne used to pick him up in the limo to bring him to all the events. Want to say, man, you're still pushing it, you're still kicking it, and we still celebrate you. You are an icon. For those who don't know, you are an icon, and we need to do more celebration of what you've been doing. And on our network, we would love to also invite you in so that you can share your voice, your 77-year-old voice. I'm 65. Your 77.
I got t-shirts older than you.
without a doubt. And I remember.
I accept the invitation. I would love to.
And
But we'll talk about it, Dr. Eric Kelly, because that's something else that sometimes he doesn't take his medication right. And so he may book some stuff, but we actually have a person that does the booking formally,
Yeah.
and I'm not about to get in trouble. So I'm going to pass
I'm
it over to our scheduler.
Yeah, I'm not trying to book him, but I just want to have one question. And my question is, where do we do with the communication of getting this message out across the globe? Because most people in North America, the average age is 25. The average age in Europe is 22, 23, and the average age in Africa is 15. How do we get this message, this powerful message across the airwaves? And that's one of the things that we would like to do with you guys. So that's what I wanted to say. And thank you for allowing me.
I'm so glad you asked that question, because most people don't give the kind of thought that you're expressing about how do we communicate the message. A message has no power in and of itself. You have to take in who's going to hear this message. What gave me an advantage to break through in the speaking industry, the speaking industry has been governed by the Dale Carnegie course. They teach, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. I train the speakers that I train, never let what you want to say until you find out what the people need that you're going to talk to. And all that get understanding, so that we can, when we speak, when you have an event, the programming you provide, what you tune into, you turn into. What we do when we speak, we distract, dispute, and inspire. How people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. What the George Floyd Memorial Center will do is create leaders that will be able to interrupt the story that we believe about ourselves, distract, dispute, and through the presentation, create an experience. If information could change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy. What we have to do, and what the George Floyd Memorial Center will do, is create experiences across this country that will expand people's minds, touch their hearts, because we're emotional people, and ignite their spirit to become actively engaged and making a difference rather than just being a spectator. After the speech of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., there was a speech given by a rabbi that I thought was more important than Dr. King's I Have a Dream. He said, when something happens, there are three things. There's a perpetrator, there are the victims, and they're the witnesses. And he said, which is most condemning? And he said, the witnesses. Just like those four cops, at any time, they could have intervened. They were witnesses to a murder. And he said, Lord, please don't let our country become a country of witnesses. People just sit back and look and say, oh, ain't it awful? The George Floyd Memorial Center is about, no, not lip service, but life service. That we're going to be engaged. We're going to live our lives like Horace Mann said. We should be ashamed to die until we have made some major contribution to humankind. And the George Floyd Memorial Center will make a major contribution for generations yet unborn.
Mic drop.
Thank you. And I'm going to jump in and just piggyback off of that, because that is so profound. One of the key points that when we came together, Thomas and I, to put down the basic thought behind of what it is that we would like to aspire to do, regardless, we are going to be intentional about what we do. What we do will complement transparency. And above all, no matter what, we will never allow anyone to derail the direction that we are pursuing. Why? Because we're going to do it with utmost integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch, please watch the consistency that we have a goal to pursue. We need your help. We need your engagement. We need your support. But we're going to lead the way.
Mm-hmm.
We were neophytes several months ago, but we're in the big leagues now because of the support that we're fostering each and every day. And you can't do it sitting down.
That's right.
You can't do it once a year. This is a fight
Every day.
every single day,
Every day.
every waking moment that we have to make that difference. That's the goal. That's the mission. That's our core value in how we pursue these initiatives. We are going to work. We're going to light that candle, and we are going to do the work each and every day. That's the goal.
And if you all do make note of it on GeorgeFloydMC.org, you will actually be able to, once you visit that site, and we put the link in the comment section, you'll be able to see the events that's happening coming up on May 27th and May 28th. Dr. Lotus Riché is going to talk more about those events. But if you visit the website, you'll see all of those events, as well as learn about past events that's been happening with the organization already, the George Floyd Memorial Center. You'll get to meet some of the leaders that's on the team and their board of director members as well. If you click there on board of directors, you'll get to personally learn about each of their board members that are taking time from their schedules to be a part of the George Floyd Memorial Center. So quite a few people are being a part of this organization and really committed. All levels of diversity are included here to be able to be committed to this project.
Exactly. And as you can see, you have many people from various different backgrounds that are here. And this is one of the ways that I came on board with the blackowned.com. And we came to a meeting with Mr. Roger and Mr. Thomas and the Floyd team. And I was asked to come and be a part of it because I am a part of blackowned.com. And lo and behold, I just love the energy that they had. And, you know, I shared this story with them and it had me in tears because when all of this was going on and people were marching in the street and things like that, I said, God, what can I do to help? Because I'm not going to be out there marching in the street. I used to do that, but I wasn't going to do that. And God said, use your platform. Use what I've given you. And I had no idea of how that would come about. But lo and behold, being a servant leader, and Dr. Kelly talks about this all the time, being a servant leader, God made the way. And God not only made the way for me to connect with them, God also made the way for me to connect with Dr. Kelly. Dr. Kelly and I, we've been doing the Black Business Expo. I jumped on board with him a while back, bringing speakers from all over the world together. And I said to Dr. Kelly, Dr. Kelly, can I please play this video? And it's the video talking about the George Floyd Memorial Center. And of course, he said, why not? But little did I know that we had over 10 million live viewers. And then turn around, we had another 0.1 million on the radio listening to me speak today for 4 hours. And so, again, I believe it's nothing but God inspiration. Because again, like Mr. Floyd said, we can't do it alone. Like Mr. Les said, we cannot do it alone. And it takes everyone. I'm just a simple voice in the day that's shining light on a message that has to get out. And Dr. Kelly, you talked about communication. How do we communicate this globally? This is how we communicate it globally. We have two other ladies here with us that we haven't even brought up yet. And I'm going to introduce them if we can bring them up, because they have joined forces with us as well. We have Shirley Murphy.
And they're not backstage right now. That's the only reason I haven't brought them up yet.
No worries. But
I'll
talk about them.
I can, if you would like me to. I would love to be able to play that commercial that we have.
Yes.
It's the video collage, if everybody's okay with me playing that for a moment.
Yes. And if I may just tell a little bit about the ladies. Shirley Murphy, she's the CEO of Global Labor Events and Business Magazine Gleam. She's the founder of Women Reach Out with God Initiative Rogi and the founder of She Rise Academy. She's a media consultant and a family life coach, an author, and an international speaker. And she is broadcasting this live on her network in Nigeria, Africa. And then we have Mere Tulakima, also known as the Greatness Engineer. And she is an award-winning entrepreneur. She's a thought leader. She's a renowned engineer and a global engineer and STEM expert. She's a woman of empowerment advocate and a champion. She's a published author and a talk show host based in Australia. And she carries out empowerment work globally as she is the host of a global show, a global network, and an executive producer of the Greatness Engineering Hour. And again, one person that is not here because she had a show already, Miss Pamela Luhing. She is sharing our show worldwide. And so I want to thank these powerful ladies. I want to thank you, Dr. Kelly, for coming on to do what you're doing. And of course, Kim Jacobs, my sister, I want to thank you, and Mr. Les Brown, because this is how we get it done. Mr. Roger Floyd, Mr. Thomas Mclaren, and all the people in the Floyd team that are not even here, but they're here over the airwaves. They're here. So I'm excited. We're going to cut to this video. Kim?
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start that now. Here we go.
Don't you just look?
May 25th. That was the day that the world really woke up. So this is a reminder to remember that day, 5/25, DOE, which stands for Day of Enlightenment.
Wow. We must all remember that day, Day of Enlightenment. May 25th changed the world forever, and how we all view what transpired on that day. Dr. Lotus Riché, I know we haven't heard from Thomas Mclaren yet, so would you do the honors of introducing him and giving him an opportunity to have words as well?
Mr. Mclaren is an amazing man, and Mr. Roger Floyd has talked about him just a little bit, but I want to share a little bit of my personal experience with this young man. And I did say young, because he has the spirit of a young champion, championing this amazing event. That's right. So Mr. Thomas is one of the executives within the George Floyd Memorial Center. And he may seem like a man of few words, but when he speaks, he's like E.F. Hutton. Everybody listens. So please welcome Mr. Thomas Mclaren.
All right. You have the floor, Mr. Thomas.
Wow. Dr. Lotus, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know what to say. And I kind of hate that Mr. Les Brown actually had to go somewhere, but I wanted to share something with him because you all mentioned that he's 77. You could not tell that brother was 77. And one of the things, I've been listening to him for probably 40 years now. One of the things that he has influenced me, you guys see a little bit of this gray, and I wanted to share with him that I brought my
your mascara,
my gray disintegrator, that mascara. Yeah, I got that from Les
He's
Brown.
He's gonna laugh when he watches the rest.
Let him know that Yeah. Let him know
That is
that
all.
I've got my mascara ready to kind of color in some of this stuff, you know. But thank you so much for that introduction. And as you said, a man of few words. Well, yeah, because today I've been listening, but Roger knows that sometimes I get started and a half hour's gone by and we didn't even realize it. But I just wanted to say thank you all so much for this opportunity, because this has been and is being such a tremendous blessing to us for what we're going to do. And you know, a lot of people look at my last name and they say, "Well, your last name is McLaurin. How are you related to the Floyds?" Well, Roger Floyd is my uncle. My mother was the oldest of 9 siblings. Her name was Annie Neal Floyd, and she married my father, who is Marion McLaurin. And so, of course, I came along. But I grew up around my Uncle Roger, my Uncle Ike, my Uncle Perry, who is George Perry Floyd Sr. I grew up around them because I'm only 6 years younger than Roger. She said, "Young man, thank you so much for that." But I was always hanging around them. I was that little nephew that never wanted to leave. I was that little nephew that wanted to go out and play basketball within the baseball court. Whatever they were doing, that was me. As a matter of fact, George's dad, George Floyd Sr., taught me how to play the guitar when I was 5 years old. He was 15. I was sitting in his lap. He showed me a few chords from here on to learn how to play guitar. As a matter of fact, so thank you for that. And, you know, we said we've got to do something. Yes, it hurt tremendously.
Where'd that come from? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's happening? I don't know where that's coming from. It's not. I can't
I don't know. I
control
guess I
it.
need to pick up
somebody's
my
got
tempo a little
playing
bit.
something. Okay.
Okay, I'm like, hey, I'm in control of this broadcast, and I say, stop it right now.
Okay.
I'm not playing that button. I knew I couldn't. I wasn't playing it. Sorry about that. I don't know what was going on, but let's keep going, Thomas. Sorry about that.
No, but this has been so, you know, as Roger said, I think Doc has actually been in some meetings, but I'm pretty sure, just like always, he's well versed, he's well read, and I'm sure you put him in on a few things, but knowing him, he's done his research, and a lot of the things that he actually mentioned as he was on was right in our wheelhouse. Those are the things that we want to do. You mentioned transformation, and the only way transformation is going to take place is somebody has to step forward and enact transformation. And that's what we're all about. As a matter of fact, our theme this entire year, we're probably going to keep it for a while, is from perpetual trauma to transformation. Because everybody who saw that video of George, everybody who watched Mike Brown, everybody who heard about Breonna Taylor, who watched the video of Ahmaud Arbery, that was trauma. That was trauma. We weren't sitting in the movie theater with a box of popcorn and a Coke watching Arnold Schwarzenegger or Wesley Snipes or some of them, you know, in a shoot 'em up. We actually saw real life, and that was trauma. And when we found out that that was our blood, I mean, that just took us to a deep place. But we met as a family, and we said, we've got to do something. We've got to be transformative, and that transformation has to start with us. And that's where it started. We said we change we see. And so it had us. We could have been bitter. We could just complaining about, oh, it's me, woe is me, and all that stuff. But we know that there are a lot more who have suffered at the hands of not only the police, but just the society and just world evil. And in order to do something about it, we said we've got to be about it. And that's how the George Floyd Memorial Center came about.
Wow. That is an incredible backstory, and that's something that we benefited from knowing now how you are part of the Floyd family. And one of the questions that we wanted to also ask you all is to tell us overall about this empowerment weekend and how it came about and who we've talked about some of the we haven't talked about all of the supporters. We've talked about Les Brown in particular. But if any of you all could let everyone else that's watching today know who are some of the supporters and some of the partners in this initiative.
Okay, well, I'll jump in there on that. First and foremost, the Weekend of Enlightenment came because, as you know, the 20th of May is the anniversary. And last year, we dubbed May 25th as the Day of Enlightenment. And so, as we were creating opportunities for people to engage with us, we said, it's got to be more than just a day. And so, we wanted to create the Weekend of Enlightenment. And so, we have reached out to several entities such as Duke Energy, one of ours, Red Ventures out of Charlotte, North Carolina, a partner with us. And as far as down in Atlanta, Georgia, we have several there who have reached out. One of my former college football teammates actually is the president of Alliance Plastic Company, which is up and down the East Coast. And he said, yes, I definitely want to do what I can do. We'll help you from our Atlanta office as well as our North Carolina office. And then we've partnered with some other entities such as St. Augustine's University. We are working with them to not only help facilitate what we want to do as far as classes and programs, but we're bringing light to that college. And so everything that we can do to help facilitate change, help facilitate pushing the initiative forward of going from perpetual trauma to transformation, that's what we're about.
Wow.
And Roger, if you want to jump in.
And we're going to also engage in some fun activities as well, but still sharing the message every opportunity we get. On Friday, the 27th, we're going to have our first annual charity golf event at the local golf club in Cary, North Carolina, which is just outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, where the center is actually will be built eventually. And right now, that's why we're doing everything virtually, if you will. And that's the way to go. With the mindset about the pandemic is still ongoing, and we want to be responsible in that light. But that is an outdoor outing, a big fun day. It's a fundraiser as well. The outreach has been phenomenal. It's just that we would like to get more golfers, if you will, but that will come in time. But the sponsorship has been really engaging. And so that is success within itself. And the golf club is working with us each and every day to accommodate our needs to make it happen. And that's what transformation is all about. People coming together to make that difference. And then, of course, on Saturday, we're going to have an all-day conference. That's, of course, going to be virtual. We're going to have some dynamic speakers there for the morning, the midday, and the afternoon. Panelists. The focus is on health, wealth, and education.
And what I'm gonna do, Mr. Roger, is show people some of this stuff so that way they can see what you're talking about. Let me go to the golf event, if that's okay with you, Dr. Lotus.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the charity golf event is going to be, tell them about that again, because I want to make sure everybody gets a visual of what's happening. Wait a minute. I'm going to put it right up here on the screen for you so everybody can see it at the same time. Yeah, there you go. So tell them about that event.
As you can see, that's on the 27th of May. And another sponsor, Chick-fil-A, is going to provide a breakfast for everyone. And it's going to be a shotgun scramble. We're going to get started about 7:30 in the morning. And hopefully the golfers can get underway about 9:30. We hope to finish up around 2, 3 in the afternoon. And we're going to have a nice meal prepared. And we're going to have the awards given out at that time. We're going to have a silent auction as a result. So that's going to be a fun outing for everyone that's going to participate.
And then I want to put this, I'm going to put, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share the one I have over here, Dr. Lotus, and that's going to be the tickets for Eventbrite for May 28th. Go ahead and tell them again about the virtual conference.
Absolutely. As you can see, we're going to have some dynamic speakers, and they're outlined on the website. So please, everyone, go to the website, www.georgefloydmc.org, and it's all outlined there. So this is going to
Excellent.
be a phenomenal day with the discussion about health, wealth, and education. And we're
And
going to
Dr.
have
Lotus, tell them about some of these speakers too while we have this up.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the speakers. I'm going to share. We have Rod Carter. He's one of the phenomenal speakers. Camille Kaur, Dr. Roger Lapchick, and Kamari Cook, and Reverend Dr. Michael W. Waters, all phenomenal speakers that are
And
going
that's
to
Dr. Richard Lapchick.
Yeah, Dr. Richard Lapchick, pardon me. But all phenomenal speakers that's going to really be dynamic. And Dr. Richard Lapchick, he's an author, an educator, an ESPN columnist, and he's an internationally recognized expert on sports and social events and social issues. And let's go ahead and talk about one of the other speakers, Kamari Cook. Kamari Cook is the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer at Red Ventures, where she is responsible for leading the development and execution.
Yeah.
Why can't I get that?
You've been doing a lot of work. You've been doing a lot of work to
Execution
get this
of
ready.
Red Ventures. Yes, I've been going all day since about 4 this morning, and she's a DEI strategist. The other person, let's talk about Reverend Dr. Michael W. Waters. He's a pastor, he's a professor and an activist, and he's the founder and lead pastor of the Abundant Life African Methodist Episcopal Church in Dallas, Texas. Okay, so there are so many wonderful people. Some I've mentioned, some I haven't had the pleasure of mentioning as of yet, but this is going to be a dynamic event that you really don't want to miss. You want to be a part of it. And then if you would, right down here, Kim.
Oh, you know what? I think when I actually removed the extra screen, it kicked her out of the studio. But don't worry, she'll be right back in, Dr. Lotus Riché, and she's doing a marvelous job hosting this event. All of the ways that you can actually follow her are in your comment section as well. And so we definitely want to give a major round of applause to Dr. Lotus Riché. And I know that Dr. Shirley Murphy is the next person that she has on the agenda for us to hear from today. So we're going to play a video that includes you, Dr. Shirley Murphy, as an intro. And then we're going to hear from you right now, right after this break.
My name is Shirley Murphy, CEO, Global Labor Event and Business Magazine, Gleam. And I'm so honored to be a partner at the George Floyd Weekend of Enlightenment event. We are coming together with a family of George Floyd who have decided not to become bitter victims, but vessels of change to lead individuals and communities from perpetual trauma to becoming transformational advocates. Now, the Weekend of Enlightenment is going to be empowering, uplifting, and the beginning of a catalyst to lead individuals and impact lives in the communities that we seek to serve. So join us and let's make a difference in our world. Thank you.
And before we hear from Shirley Murphy, since our own host, Dr. Lotus Riché, is back here in the studio audience, I want to give you the honors, Dr. Lotus Riché, to introduce our next speaker, Shirley Murphy. Unmute yourself.
Here we go. Thank you so much, Kim. Of course, Miss Shirley Murphy is a global phenomenon. She's a speaker, she's an author, and she's the CEO of Labus TV, as well as Gleam Magazine. She is the founder of Women Reach Out with God Initiative, and she is also the founder of an amazing university, if you will, and I'll let her share a little bit about the academy, if you will, but none other than all the way from Nigeria, Africa. Please welcome Mrs. Shirley Murphy. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Oh, I'm muted? Am I muted now?
No, you're fine.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you so very much for having me, and thank you once again for this opportunity. My name remains Shirley Murphy, and I'm so honored to be a partner at the George Floyd Weekend of Enlightenment event. Now, I celebrate the family of George Floyd who have decided, to become transformational advocates to impact change, rather than becoming bitter victims.
Dr.
They
Shirley,
decided
Dr.
to.
Shirley, before
Yeah.
you continue on, because again, as a host myself, you'll be disappointed if I don't say this to you. So the green screen is causing a glare or something. So I'm going to remove you for a second and give you a chance to get that fixed or removed, and then bring you back on out of courtesy to you. Is that okay, everyone? All right.
Yes.
Dr. Lotus,
Perfect.
introduce our next speaker, please.
So our next speaker, she's a phenomenal engineer. She is the show host of a phenomenal engineering show, the Greatness Engineering Show. She is an international best-selling author. She is a show host. She is a mother. She is a keynote speaker. But most importantly, she is an agent of change. She is none other than the amazingly remarkable Mrs. Mere Tulakima. Thank you.
Thank you for such an amazing introduction. I don't know if I recognize myself into this introduction. Like she was saying, I'm Mireille Tulekima. I'm based in Perth in Australia, but I've actually, work and travel all over the world. I'm an engineer by background, but being an engineer, to look at engineering more on a global scale, not just on the technical side. So I looked at, how I can engineer greatness and make sure that people understand that, they have a gift and they can use this gift to change things and to actually help them to, take on whatever challenges or obstacles that come, in front of them. And I'm really happy to be part of this event because outside the US, we were all shocked to see that somebody could be murdered live, and nobody was able to change the course of the what was happening. And so it was shocking because we have a certain vision of the US, and we couldn't actually reconcile what the country show us outside and what was happening. And so it's important that we build on such a dramatic event to make sure that it doesn't happen anymore. And that's really why I wanted to be part of this, so that I can send the message outside the US, especially here in Australia, where sometimes we don't get all the information, and make sure people understand the magnitude of such what happened back then with late George Floyd. And that's an important thing. It's about the mindset. It's about understanding that we are all in it together. It's not just the Black community, it's everyone. Everyone needs to be educated, and to be educated you have to first get the awareness, so that now you can work on your mindset to shift and understand the extent of your action, and sometimes your inaction in this case, that led to a very dramatic event. So very happy to support the event, very happy to be part, because that's been what I've been doing for several years. Obviously I have my main my main skills, which is engineering, being a technical person, but it's all about change and looking outside the box, outside my own community, and outside what I'm used to, so that I can grow and shift as well and help people around the world. So happy, and really thank you to the family for using this dramatic to actually grow and educate people and change the world, because I think this death unfortunately changed the world, changed the narrative, and we have to keep pushing, because it is going to be a slow change for a lot of people, a lot of resistance, because people just don't want to change. So we need to create this shift. We need to force it in different way. And that's what, and I thank Dr. Lotus for putting this together. That's the kind of thing that we need. We can't hear you.
Yes, I said outstanding comments, and I want everyone that's watching today to know that this is a global program that's happening. So, and the time differences is literally wee hours of the morning where Muriel and Shirley are. So for you all to be on here tonight in the wee hours of the morning is just an incredible salute to you all in support of the George Floyd Memorial Center. Dr. Lotus Riché, do us the pleasures of introducing Shirley Murphy now.
Shirley Murphy is the CEO of Global Labor Events and Business Magazine, Gleam. She's a founder, Woman Reach Out with God Initiative, Rogi, and she is a founder of Rise Academy. A media consultant, family life coach, author, and international speaker, and #1 international best-selling author, please welcome the incredible Shirley Murphy.
Okay, Shirley Murphy, take it away.
Thank you so very much, Lotus, and of course, the amazing, the balanced Dr. Kim Jacobs. Thank you so very much for this opportunity. All right, before I go ahead, I want to say that this initiative is a phenomenal one, a global package that will help change the world from what it used to be, from the negative aspect of the things that we have been seeing, the challenges and all of that, into moving to a better and, of course, a positive world. I'm so honored once again to be a part of this program. The event celebrated by the George Floyd, who have decided not to continue to grieve, but to step out to become positive agents of change. I mean, this event is the beginning of a catalyst to lead individuals and impact lives in the communities and, of course, the world that we all seek to serve. I want to celebrate the family once again for forging a path to encourage personal healing, growth, and that we all have a responsibility to channel a positive energy to further help others rise from a dark side into the light. More than ever, this is the right time. And of course, just like I mentioned, this event is quite apt because the world, we are going through a whole lot. But it's time for us to begin a positive change. And the change, we all say, begins with us. And I can see the family is beginning this change on a great light. And of course, bringing the world together so we can forge ahead to change the narrative, to become positive leaders and help others to rise. I am all about rising, and that's why we have the She Rise Academy, where we inspire women and girls around the world to rise, to take charge of their lives, to become positive change agents. Because, we can't continue to dwell on what has happened to us. It is time for us to begin to take lessons lessons from what we have gone through and begin to change the world and help others to step out. We have a lot of people that have been stuck in all that they have been going through in life, but it is time for us to move ahead. It is time for us to begin to change the world. We must lead, and that's why the family of George Floyd, I must say again and again, I must reiterate that I celebrate the courage, I celebrate the tenacity that you guys have to come up with this. It's not easy. The sudden news about his death was so devastating around the world. And of course, here in Nigeria, we heard the news, and 2 years gone, things have to change. And I appreciate the angle at which this change is coming from. So we are out to celebrate with you. And that's why I partnered wholeheartedly, and of course, with our organization, with this initiative, because it is time for the world to change for better. Let us all come together and united to form a formidable force that will change the narrative for good. Thank you so very much.
Wow. Wow. I mean, if you could do like standing ovations virtually, I'm saying that we are giving standing ovations and saluting you all, each person represented here on this evening. And to all of our virtual studio audience members, you make this platform what it is. We thank Les Brown for even allowing this to happen on his platform as one of the sponsors for this event. So, Dr. Lotus Riché, do you have any other questions for everyone here?
Well, I definitely have a question for Mr. Mclaren. Mr. Mclaren, how can people connect with you? How can they send donations? Because let's face it, such a great endeavor cannot go on without donations. There's got to be some money in the pockets.
Yes.
So how can people donate, and where do they donate to?
Is he muted? Okay, let me put you off on mute. Unmute. Okay,
There we
go ahead.
Okay, there it is. Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Riché, and thank you, Dr. Murphy and Dr. Tolakima and Dr. Kelly. All these doctors on here, I'll tell you, I'm probably the healthiest person on the screen because I got all these, I'm surrounded by these doctors. So thank you so much for all that you all have done and all that you are doing. And we are so appreciative. And before I jump into answering your question, I just want to mention one other thing that we forgot to mention. On the 25th, which is actually the second anniversary of George's death, we actually are going to have a town hall. And if you go to our website, there it is on the www.georgefloydmc, the MC, of course, stands for Memorial Center, .org. You can see all of our information there. The town hall on the 25th is we're going to be engaging with law enforcement. And the title of that town hall is Bridging the Gap Between Community and Law Enforcement. We've got about 5 police chiefs and some other law enforcement officers that's going to be on the town hall. We've got a great community leader who is actually one of our featured speakers' wives. Dr. Waters, you all saw him as one of our featured speakers on Saturday. Well, she is going to be with us on Wednesday. She is a renowned attorney who has done a lot of affairs in the Dallas Police Department. So she's going to be a part of that. So please come and join us. It's a free event. You can find the link on our website. And that leads into what Dr. Riché was asking. How can you all connect with us? Please go to the website. Everything, we try to keep it you need is there. We've got a donate button, big yellow donate button you can click on. Also, if you go to our email, which says is info, INFO, at georgefloydmc.org, those emails come directly to me. So I'm not one of those people who has taken on the role of executive director and I'm not involved. I'm very much involved with everything that goes on with the George Floyd Memorial Center, along with my uncle, Roger Floyd. We are hands-on. We're not people that are sitting back. We're the relatives of George Floyd. Look at us. No, that's not who we are. We are boots on the ground. We are people that get in the trenches and we do the work because we know the work needs to be done. So everybody that wants to be a part of what we're doing, please, please, please reach out to us, connect with us. If the donate button, for some reason, you can't find it, just email me. I'll show you where it is. I'll walk you through the steps. Want our address to our office, you can write a check and send a check directly to our office. Roger will go down and pick it up, and we definitely would gladly accept any donations that come through. So thank you all
let's
so
be
much
very
for this
clear
opportunity. This has been.
I was just going to say the donate button is very front and center. So if you go to georgefloydmc.org, right on the home page, there's the donate button. Let me put that up there. There you go. It's right there.
Yes, and let's go ahead and press that donate button.
Oh, I'm pressing it right here on y'all's screen. Let me. Okay. You can put any amount in.
Exactly.
And it's not even telling you that you must donate a set amount. Any amount helps. Okay, let me go and share that piece of the screen. Let me stop sharing and let me show you.
And while Kim is preparing that, any amount that you want to share with the family is welcomed. It doesn't matter if it's $5 or $500,000 or $5 million. it is welcome. And this is how you do it.
And this is very simple, just by going to the home screen of George Floyd. Go ahead. Thomas, what were you going to say?
Oh, no. I was going to say, and one thing that is key, we are a 501c3 nonprofit. All donations are tax deductible. When you make a donation, we'll see the receipt immediately. It is tax deductible. Take advantage of the opportunity, all that you can.
Okay. All right, Dr. Lotus Riché, any additional things that you want to share? I know each person may have a closing comment, which I want to yield the floor to each person that's been on the panel this evening. But Dr. Lotus, at the end, if you want to close us out properly, I greatly appreciate it. So let's start with you, Dr. Eric Kelly, if you'd like to say any closing comment. Let me see.
First of all, I'm humbled. Second of all, when I sit and think about history and history makers, this is a historical moment. You know, I am really sitting here taking notes and thinking about, you know, what can we really do? You know, many people have the means to help, but the question always is, are you going to help? You put up the donation button, but how many people are going to press the button? We must have people to understand that no movement moves without money. No movement moves with just talk. We all have a voice. And I didn't know you were going to start with me, but since you started with me, what I would like to say is that, you know, I want to share my network, not just because many don't know my real network, but I want to share my network with you guys. I got an email, but I want to make sure I got the correct email, because I know you were saying info at George Floyd, and then there was GeorgeFloydMC.org. So I wanted to make sure I got that clear, and I wanted to get a telephone number so I could call, so I could have some more in-depth conversation about what you guys are doing, because I'm a history buff. And what we witnessed as a group of people was a tragedy. And that tragedy is still happening today. And if we don't stand up and do something about it now, when will we stand up? And as I close, I just want to say, you know, you can lean on me, my network, but I have names and numbers and people who really you need to contact to make this thing happen. And a lot of times people talk about it, but Dr. Lotus Riché kind of tricked me to get me here. She said George Floyd and can you come? And many times I don't show up, but I feel the same hurt that the family feels, because I'm a Black man in America, and every day we're terrified. And I would like to do all that I can to not only support, but to push this movement to where it should be. We hear about the NAACP, they don't do anything for us. We hear about the Black Caucus, they really don't do anything for us. We have the opportunity to do something that really changes the lives of other people when you build leaders who want to make change. And so with that being said, I'm again humbled and honored to be here. And I will do all I can, because George Floyd really was all of our brother, our uncle, you know, our fathers, our grandfathers. He was a part of our legacy as Black men on the planet. And with that being said, thank you for allowing me to come in, Mr. Floyd. I'm not going to cry, but I feel like crying, because, you know, many people will talk about what happened, and many people would come and they will march, and everybody will be out there in the streets. Everybody be yelling and screaming and getting in front of the cameras. But what they don't see that you lost your son. They don't see what you lost. We won't see George walk through that door. and with what you guys are doing. And I didn't even know it was going to be right up the street from my house, because I'm in Durham, North Carolina. It's going to be in Cary. I didn't know that until I was watching the commercial today on my network. But more importantly, I'll do all I can to support what you guys are doing, because your son is like everybody's son that somebody just took prematurely off the planet before they got an opportunity to share their greatness with the world. And so again, I want to make sure I get the right email and a correct number so that I can call you guys, and I'll send you resources. I got Lotus. No, I got all the resources.
So we'll put it in the private chat, Lotus, Dr. Lotus Riché, put it in the private chat, how he can connect with Mr. Roger Floyd and with Mr. Thomas Mclaren. So that way they stay connected and he can get those resources over to them. Thank you so much, Dr. Eric Kelly. We want to hear from you, Muriel, and hear a closing comment. Let me make sure I unmute anybody. Okay, you can unmute yourselves because it's showing you all are muted. Okay, but let's hear a closing comment from you, Muriel.
I mean, it's amazing to see, what's going on right now, and I'm one of the, I'm always very optimistic in everything, even in when I have a tragedy, because I think everything happened for a reason. Yes, we lost George Floyd, but it is, it is the start of a shift, the start of a movement to really gather good, energy and all the good people to actually try to change the narrative. And it's something that is, it's all of us. It's not just the family that is, that are to actually see somebody that they love, leave Earth. It's all of us. It starts with all of us. Whatever we can do, we can do. We can donate. We can donate money. We can donate our time, because that's very important as well. We can network. We can connect people with our network, because things have to change. This world is just getting crazy, especially on in the US. What we see is just beyond what you can imagine. So it's important that we all come together, because it's about making sure that humanity win. It's not about an individual. It's not about a community. We all need to find our place in this world and shift to something that is more, more encouraging, more enlightening for every single person on earth, starting with our own Black community, which is suffering right now in the US. So let's all put our effort together. Whatever we can give, whatever we can do, let's spread and grow this movement around the world, because it is about us. It's not just about George Floyd. It's not just about his family. It is about the human being. And that's really the message that I want to put out there.
An incredible message at that. So thank you so much for those wonderful closing comments. We're going to hear next from our own Shirley Murphy. So Shirley, if you could have closing words. You have to unmute yourself. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much once again for the opportunity. And finally, I just want to say that where we are right now, we all have a responsibility to do what will help our society and, of course, the world to become a better place. We all have it, with us. So we need to take the stand and begin to move. And then again, I also want to encourage everyone out there to support this initiative, because I know the donations and, of course, the support that you're going to give towards this initiative is going towards a project that they are building in order to support children, of course, the community where George Floyd came out from. So we need to come together to do this. It is high time, we support what will help the world, our communities, to be better. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your wonderfully, and you're right, Angela, and the studio audience is saying beautifully said, and that's exactly what that was, just beautifully stated. So thank you so much. Okay, we're going to hear next from, let's go to you, Mr. Thomas Mclaren.
Okay, get that unmuted. Yeah, thank you all so much again. And Dr. Kelly, you say you're in Durham. Did my graduate work over there, not too far from you. So I'm an Eagle over there in North Carolina Central. So you may know about that. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, the closing words that I want to say reflect back to Dr. Les Brown. As I said, I've been listening to Dr. Brown for years. He's one of my heroes, one of my motivators that sometimes when I'm out in the yard cutting grass and I have my headphones on, he's who I'm listening to. Either him or listening to some Earth, Wind, and Fire, something like that. But anyway, I love his story about when he was in school and they said the teacher told him to go to the board, and they said, well, he can't do it because he's the dumb. And Mr. Washington, I think, was the teacher, said, don't let anyone's story determine your outcome. Right. And I try to live by that. Many people know that George's family was very broad. As I mentioned, we are on the father side. George was born in North Carolina, and when George's uncle, my uncle and his brother actually packed up the kids and moved to Texas, and that's where he grew up. But he never forgot his family back in North Carolina, and we definitely never forgot them. As a matter of fact, one of the things that he said when my sister and some others went to a birthday party that he attended back in 2017, he says, I've got to reconnect with my North Carolina family. Then, of course, when the tragedy took place in 2020, that we said we have to do something. But I think about that because most people recognize a lot of the family out of Texas when they see the Floyd family on television or whatever. We're sort of like the twin that nobody knows. But what that man said to him, Mr. Les Brown, was, don't let anyone else determine your outcome. That's who we are. That's what we're going to do. And so we're going to keep moving forward. Thanks to everyone on this call. Thanks to everyone who's listening, all the supporters. We are here to do a work, and it can't be done ourselves. It's going to be done with everyone joining in together. Thank you, and God bless you.
Wow. Thank you, and God bless you and your entire family. And your representation is just life-changing for those that are here to still witness everything that you're bringing to George Floyd's memory. Let's hear from you, Uncle Roger Floyd, with your closing comments.
Thank you so much, and thanks everyone on this call. What a powerful night we have had. Thank you for the outreach. My gratitude is in the stratosphere. I am truly grateful for this opportunity just to share what we're all about and what the plans are that we are going to do, regardless of how much time it's going to take, because that's our focal point. We will get there, but as it was said earlier, we will get there together as one. The outreach tonight globally has truly been phenomenal. And again, we are so grateful. I echo what Thomas just shared with the group, that we're going to get there. Donations are appreciated. We will use them wisely, and we will stay focused. I would like to reach out to Dr. Eric Kelly, because we actually have history. If you don't recall, this may remind you, and we interacted several years ago. I am Roger Floyd, the retired All-State insurance agent. Okay.
Look at how small the world is. Look at that.
Absolutely.
I didn't know.
That's powerful. I wanted to save that to the end because we're going to get together for lunch. I'm still in Raleigh, which is where the center is going to be built.
Oh, that's great.
We will connect. Thank you so much for your powerful words. Thank you, Sister Shirley. Thank you, Sister Morel, if it is. Dr. Lotus, Sister Kim, just phenomenal work. Just phenomenal work. We love you. We love your engagement. We love your energy. Bringing us about. From the heart, guys. From the heart. Thank you so much.
Woo! Okay, Dr. Lotus Riché. So, Kim, I really want to thank you, Kim, for all that you do. Kim is really a sister to me. And Kim, when I first jumped on and said, hey, Kim, I want to bring the George Floyd Memorial Center to a greater awareness. I'm going to have them on my platform. You know, I really wanted Les Brown and you and several others, Merel and of course, Miss Shirley and so many others around the world, and of course the Black Business Expo to be a part of this thing. And immediately we went to work, and Kim was very instrumental in making a lot of this happen. Mr. Les Brown, to you, you know, you've been my mentor. I told you my story when I was in Japan and how you inspired me and encouraged me without even knowing me. But you helped me save the lives of thousands of people that were my patients when I worked for the Department of Defense. And it is a small world, because here's the thing. I didn't trick Dr. Kelly, but I did say George Floyd, and this is what he does. He showed up. He showed up, not just here, but on his platform, and allowed me to play the video about this event to over 10,000 people. And for that, I'm humbly grateful as one of the moderators for the Black Business Expo USA. And being a part of the Black Business Network, I get some opportunities that are amazing. And I'm humbly honored to all the people on the Black Business Network, Black Business USA, to Dr. Kelly's mother and his grandmother who birthed the idea. I'm humbly thankful. And I'm humbly thankful to my mother, Miss Mary Frances Riché. Some people call her Miss Mary Frances Rich. Because when I started talking about this, my mother was still with us. She was still alive. And while she was alive, she shared her disappointment in the way that he was treated, Mr. George Floyd. She shared her passion and zeal for change. And Mom, I know that you can see me and hear me. And I must say to you, your words are being shared all across the world. We must have change. We must be change agents. That's what my mother inspired me to do. And so it's because of my mother and because of my father that I'm here today. And I could not have done any of this without all of you that's on this panel, and many of you that are not on this panel, like Dr. Tandra Price, who is covering the event in her wonderful global magazine called Tap In Magazine. I could not do it alone. And so for all of you, thank you for helping me to just be a part of this, because I'm just a small part of something that is so amazing. And I always say, shoot for the stratosphere. Don't shoot outside of the box, because if you shoot just outside of the box, that's where you're going to land. But if you shoot for the stratosphere, nothing is impossible. So thanks again to all of our viewers from all over the world. Please go ahead and make the donations, because it's going to take more than just lip service. It's going to take more
more than just shows. It's going to take more than just thank yous. It's going to take more than just, I'm going to do it. We need to be about it and make donations today. And when you share your donations with us, we will bring you up on our broadcast. We will tell the world that you are a part of being the change that this world needs to see. And so, Kim, again, I thank you and I turn it back to you.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Lotus Riché. Thank you to the entire Floyd family, to all of our panelists today, and everyone that's tuned in. We do see that some of you have donated and that you're putting your comments here. You say you don't know how to share the screenshot, but Marie, we want to give you a shout out and say thank you for definitely donating, and thank you for doing that. Well, you said I'm on the site donating as I speak, and I see lots of other comments coming in as well. We salute you for taking the initiative to actually donate. I'm a mother of 5 children, and to see the situation where the whole world, we witnessed what we witnessed. It does not, no matter how you slice it, it is what it is. It was there, and it was done in broad daylight in front of all of us.
Yes.
And I have a son that transitioned from this world. I wear his button all the time. I could never imagine his life being taken in that way. And so to witness that as a mom of 4 sons, 4 African-American sons, my heart, I felt like I was having a heart attack when I watched that as a mother of 4 sons. So I am so honored that the family of George Floyd has decided to keep his legacy alive, to honor his daughter the way that she really does believe her daddy changed the world. My daddy changed the world. And her dream really is coming true because her daddy really did change the whole world.
Yes.
And so we're grateful for his legacy. We're saddened to know that it took his life for this legacy to live on. But so many people around the world are going to be blessed because of what we witnessed with George Floyd's tragic situation. So I really hope and encourage each of you to donate to GeorgeFloydMC.org. It is going to be a joyous occasion, a weekend of enlightenment. It's all positive. It's not going to be humdrum. It's going to be where we're celebrating and bringing back great memories that represent George Floyd's life and his legacy.
And
so
Kim,
sure
if I may, I don't want to get off the broadcast without thanking the Lotus Riché Ignites team, and of course, Angela Elting, who's running my live broadcast right now on the Lotus Riché Ignite show. Much love, peace, and joy to you.
I'm loving everything that you said. And the only other thing I'll say that I was going to also share is that 3 of my children, this is Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Month. And I don't know if you all are aware of that. There are about 30,000 people that live with this disease where mucus clogs up in your lungs, and it can really try to alter how you breathe and how you're impacted. Well, 3 of my children, which is about 17,000 African Americans that live with this disease, 3 of those African Americans live in my house. But whenever I do demonstrations regarding CF for people, and I do a straw, attempting to breathe in and holding my nose, it puts me back in the mindset that there's no demonstration that I could do pertaining to my children that live with this lung disease as it compared to the amount of time that George Floyd's breathing was stripped away. I want y'all to remember that we're not just out here talking about George Floyd's life just to be doing it, but because
it's real.
His legacy must live on. Okay? All right. So I didn't say much the whole broadcast. I could say plenty, but I'll just leave it at that. Okay. And anybody else? That's all. I think pretty much I see all of the comments still coming in. People saying, wow, the time is right for change. I'm a mother of 2 men, 1 with Down syndrome. We need to protect our children. And so lots of love pouring in. Make sure, most importantly, that you donate.
Don't hesitate, donate. And don't remember, you get a tax rebate.
That's right. Okay. Y'all, between Dr. Lotus Riché and Kim Jacobs and Les Brown over here, we could be up here all night. Okay, we're going to get ready to get off of this broadcast. Do we have anything else, Dr. Lotus Riché? I don't want to close out.
No, but thank you again, Kim, Mr. Les Brown, to all of our panelists all around the world, our viewers. We thank you again. Donate, donate, donate. Don't hesitate, because it's never too late to donate. Thank you again, and good night.
Good night. Now I have the video with you on it. I've already played Dr. Shirley's video, but you want me to play the one? Okay, I'm going to close out with this one from Dr. Lotus Riché. And remember, everyone, please also continue to follow Les Brown, lesbrown.com. He is a living legend and he's touchable. He allows people, this man, I got to say this about Les Brown.
Yes.
There are not too many people in the world that are at his level, his caliber of speakers. He's one of the top speakers in the entire world. And this man spent 6 months of his time every single week training people. Like, he could have sent any of his speakers, but instead he personally came in for hours and just spent time pouring into people, teaching them how to share their stories. He wants to bring out the greatness in every single person. It's his give back to the world. So you all continue to pray for Les Brown and to bless him in any way that you can. If there's any way to donate to Les Brown, do it, because I promise you that this man has gone over and beyond the call of duty to give back to the entire world. Some kind of way your family has been impacted because of Les Brown. So thank you, Mr. Les Brown. We salute you for being one of our world leaders. And yes, we may not remember everybody else's name, who's the president of that, who's the president of that, but we all know Les Brown.
And Kim, here's what I think. You've said it, and you've said it very well. He's done so much for so many. Today, I want to take the opportunity to say that I'm inviting you, Kim, to help me spearhead, along with everybody else on the panel, the Les Brown Global Day. So, folks, stay tuned, because it's coming to a country near you.
Wow. Y'all heard it right here. All right, we're going to close out and we're going to hear with Dr. Lotus Riché. Final comments. God bless you all, everyone. Uncle Roger, Mr. Thomas, Muriel, Shirley, Dr. Lotus Riché, Dr. Eric Kelly, Pamela Lewing, Dr. Tandra Price. To all of you in the virtual studio audience, we love you, we salute you, we honor you. Have a beautiful night. Here you are.
It is without question that the upcoming event called the Weekend of Enlightenment, hosted by the George Floyd Memorial Center, is a must-attend event as we partner to share the amazing wealth of energy, knowledge, and positive vibes across the planet. Hello, my name is Dr. Lotus Riché, the CEO and founder of Lotus Riché Coaching and Consulting, LLC, and the host of the Lotus Riché Ignite Show. I am partnered, and honorably so, with the George Floyd Memorial Center. And we are hosting a phenomenal event starting May 25th. It's an online event that you don't want to miss. And we're going even further on May 27th, where we're hosting the charity golf event in Cary, North Carolina. And to sum it all up, on the 28th, we're having the George Floyd Memorial Center Weekend of Enlightenment Conference. It starts at 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And we hope to see you there. So don't forget to go get your virtual ticket on Eventbrite. Look for the George Floyd Memorial Center Weekend of